Somebody asked me why, as a doctor, I chose this subject. मुझे क्या ज़रूरत थी इसके अंदर में? Now, as a medical doctor, we face lots of problems. Some people come and ask us, कि hospital में prayer room क्यों नहीं है? I want to pray. Where should I pray? Some people come to us and say that some patients request us that we should pray with them. Some people expect, if there is a death in the hospital, that one of the hospital representative should go to the cremation ground and pay homage. Many people expect that when a person dies, we must respect the dead body. That means, अगर मैं किसी patient को declare करता हूँ, तो I must respect the dead body, say sorry to the dead body, touch his feet, and say sorry to the family that I have not been able to. They want some custom. Some people want that. This is my 30 years of experience. And many times I have annoyed people because I have heard their sentiments. And today, when there is a medical tourism, from every country people are coming. In India, we have 9 religions, and every religious person is getting admitted with us. We need to know their sentiments. If we listen to each one of them, we will come out with a white paper and try to circulate it to the medical community, at least to the medical community. This is what every religion expects from us when their patient is admitted, whether he becomes all right or not. I have requested all my speakers to limit their talk to a short introduction. I have given each one of them 5 questions. One of my questions is, should hospitals have prayer rooms? Are doctors expected to pray with their patients? Is there a role of a prayer in a disease? Is there a role of prayer in health? And obviously, I will like each one of them to talk about one line on, is there a difference between a prayer and meditation? Now I'll request our chief guest, Shri J. Veer Raghavan, Director Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, to give a keynote address and open the symposium, which I will moderate after that.
Dear colleagues in the dais and in the audience, Dr. Agarwal, I do not propose to take much of your time because I think with so many spiritual gurus before us, and I am as keen as you are to listen to them, I should not take much of your time in making a few preliminary remarks. First, I want to thank Dr. Agarwal for the initiative he has taken, not only in this health mela, but also in organizing a series of lectures in Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan on health. The last lecture was on health and diet. Today we are going to have the messages from the spiritual gurus and from Dr. Agarwal on prayer and health and prayer. Now there are many points they will be touching upon. The role of prayer in health, the role of prayer in disease, and several other related items. Is there a difference between prayer and meditation? Such like issues, I am sure we will hear the learned people place their views, points of view and perspectives of different religions before us. I would say, from Bhagavad Gita's point of view, Bhumirapo analo vayu khammano buddhirevacha ahankara itiyam me binna prakritirashtada. This is what Bhagavan, Lord Krishna says, that he says, I am in an eightfold manner manifested myself in the universe, which includes all the material things like land, water, bhumirapo, analo, vayuhu, all this air, space, water, land, fire. Not only that, Manas, Buddhi and Ahankara. These three things he has identified. And therefore there is a very close relations among all these things, the mind and the intelligence. And Ahankara does not mean arrogance, it means sense of I-ness, identity. Now all these things are closely related to the material things, and diseases which are material have close link with the mind, Buddhi and Ahankara. Buddhi is the instrument through which the mind is controlled, and the identity or the self operates through the Buddhi. Gita also says that beyond Buddhi there is God. Yo buddhe paratastu saha. Beyond all this manifestation, there is that all-pervading, all-powerful God, immanent as well as transcendent. And therefore prayer is a means by which we try to reach those realms which we cannot reach through our mind and intelligence. Buddhi. Buddhi, which is the ultimate of the material things, which controls all the rest, but beyond that is the Brahman or the God to whom we appeal, and to whom we should appeal, in what form. Is it in some form or is it in a formless manner? These questions are also gone into in the Bhagavad Gita, and it says it doesn't matter in which form you worship. Yo yam tanum bhaktya shraddhaya architamichyati tasya achalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. In whatever form you want to worship, I will give you shraddha or devotion or faith in that form. The other day, Dr. Karan Singh, somebody asked him, what about blind faith? He said, faith has an inherent some measure of blindness. If you start questioning faith itself, then there can be no shraddha. Shraddha means total faith. Faith beyond reason. Faith overcoming and transcending reason. With that faith, you should pray. I was told of a man who was praying to God, saying, "Oh God, if there is a God, please save me, if you can save me." If you start praying with such kinds of doubts, prayer will have no impact. Prayer means the cultivation of a sense of devotion to whichever God which is dear to you and whichever God you have faith in. Once you cultivate that, that will be the source of cure. A doctor from Dallas who had conducted, a surgeon actually, who had conducted several operations, he said in its very similar circumstances, some people die and some don't. And I could not understand. I think there is a force beyond all our abilities which is guiding these things. Therefore, there is that force. And one has to appeal to that force, pray to that force with all of one's faith. And then you can draw strength from that force, which will serve as well as all medical practice and all medicines in saving you, in ensuring your good health and in saving you in disease and putting up, you get some unknown strength and resource from that source which is beyond our normal intellectual or other perceptions. So that is the meaning of prayer. Is it different from meditation? To some extent, yes, because prayer is an appeal, and you can appeal to God for various things. You can appeal for very transient things. For today, Artho, Jignasa, Artharthi, Jnani cha Bharatarashava. 4 types of prayers are there. There are those who want things from God. Artha, a man who is in pain or who is suffering, he appeals or prays for relief. Jignasu, the man who wants to understand, he also appeals to God. Like that, somebody who wants a lot of money, he appeals to God. So you can pray for different things. You can pray for good health. You can pray for welfare of mankind. You can pray for knowledge. You can pray for anything. But do pray but with sincerity and with deep faith. Prayer is something which comes from your heart. Meditation is the attempt to still your mind and to hold the prayer for a long period of time. Maybe everybody cannot have that kind of faith or that kind of meditation, but by practice one can acquire the ability to pray as well as ability to meditate. Both are therefore in some ways related to each other. Both are important for our health, in good health as well as in disease. And I wish to end my remarks once again thanking you, Dr. Agarwal, and all my colleagues, the spiritual gurus who are here, who will be giving us the messages from different religions, and to all of you who are patiently listening to me. And we all look forward to your participation in the next theme which Dr. Agarwal will think of in the series of lectures. Now, I do not know what the theme will be, whether he will announce it today or later, but whenever it is held, you should all join in continuing your support for this series of lectures. Thank you.
Thank you.